I'm continuing my series of Master Retro reviews with Season 2, Episode 20, As You Were. So, what's going on at the 477 this episode? Well, there's a lull. They have no characters and all that, so they're just doing stuff to, entertain themselves, try to not be bored. So, Henry is using some surgical trays as an improvised thing for sunbathing. Father McKay is washing his own feet. Klinger's coming up with another scheme to try to get discharged for psychological reasons. Frank is lining up all the condiments in the mess tent to the perfect level. Hawkeye and Trapper, well, let's see. They're watching Frank do that. They're playing cards, and then they get some gorilla suits delivered, so they play cards wearing gorilla suits. But then we also then find out there's a scene that we learn that Frank has a hernia and might need, it to be, operated on. So Margaret convinces him to go ask Trapper and Hawkeye to perform the operation. Margaret was the one that was really pushing for that. One, she actually does, I think, respect Trapper and Hawkeye's skills as a doctor. She may not always approve of their behavior, but she recognizes that they are competent and skilled medical professionals. Notice how when Frank pushed her on his own skills, she avoided. She knows that Frank is not the most skilled doctor on base. She knows that. She doesn't tell him, but she knows that. Anyhow, so yes, they go into the swamp, and Margaret's probably does, I think, most of the talking, but there to support Frank, which is actually good. Shows a more positive side of their relationship that we normally don't get to see. And, well, Hawkeye and Trapper are still wearing their gorilla suits, so make that Frank is aghast. Margaret's not pleased with that, but, she still encourages Frank to go through asking Hawkeye and Trapper to perform the hernia operation. They do agree. They mess around a little bit, but they do agree. And they're ready to start. They scrubbed up, and casualties are coming in. So, Frank, you gotta wait. So they do that, but in the middle of surgery, Frank gets an attack of his hernia, and he's sent to post-op. They elevate his feet and sedate him for the time being. So they're down a surgeon now, but that doesn't really impact the episode. But in other episodes, that would be a major part of the story, but it isn't in this episode. Instead, the more major part of the story, and it's still quite minor, is that they're low on whole blood, so Father McKay arranges blood donations from the camp. And so there's that. But again, not much is going on story-wise. This is a slice-of-life episode. That's what this episode is all about. We might call it filler nowadays, but the true term for any kind of thing that doesn't have a major character arc or a major plot development is slice of life. No, we don't learn anything majorly new. We just get to see the characters be themselves. We get to know them a little better, but not in a fundamental, profound way. Just normal slice of life. And that's what this episode is about. Of course, there's a little more to the episode. It does come to a point Frank's hernia has to be operated on, so he's prepped for surgery, and at the same time, a Korean woman comes in who's pregnant and is about to give birth, so they also bring her into the operating room as well. And of course, the joke is that the birth happens at the same time that Frank's hernia is removed, so Hawkeye jokes that Frank and Margaret gave birth to a 5-pound hernia. That's I think ultimately where the jokes were leading toward in this episode. Again, it's a slice of life episode. Nothing major happens, but there's just small moments here and there that we can appreciate. We get to learn a little bit more about each of the different characters. Like, for example, this proves that Klinger is faking his attempts to get out of the army on being crazy. Who writes a letter to a general saying that, see this picture of me in a dress? This proves that I'm crazy, therefore I should not be in the army. If you have that sound of a reasoning, you're not crazy. And that's Klinger's whole shtick. He's not crazy, but he's doing what people believe to be crazy and telling them that he's crazy. Does that make sense? He's trying to play the game, but he's playing it so well you can identify that he's just playing the game to try to get out on being crazy. So there's that. But there's other small things too. This episode I think has some. I think might be the first ones where we get a lot of scenes with Father McKay telling jokes. I'm sure it's happened before, but this one has probably the most amount. There's also the recurring bit of, I think it might be the first time we see, but Henry trying to actually give his annual or his monthly lecture on VD. Well, guess what? He fails. Of course he fails. He's uncomfortable with that. Notice how they never did that plot point with Conaparto. And that's probably because it wouldn't have been funny, because he would have just given the talk and the lecture and it would have been over. But with Frank, they could play it up for laughs. But again, everything about this episode is just really more slice of life stuff, just to, give us a better introduction or better feel of our characters. We've seen them already for over 40 episodes now. Makes sense. Reinforce who these characters are for us. Give us a better insight into who they are as people and just what they do normally. Not anything crazy or that. Though I will say this, if Frank had a hernia, it was bothering him for over 10 years before it became bad, how is he in the army? I feel like that would have disqualified him, but I don't know what the things are about hernias way back during the Korean War and how that affects one's ability to be in the military. I don't even know how that affects people today in the military, so yeah. But I do feel like that's the only inconsistency with this episode. But that's pretty much all I got to say. Like I said, one minor inconsistency, and while the episode may be boring, it's supposed to be a boring slice of life episode, but it's not really that boring when you really think about it. It's only boring if you believe that nothing major, nothing character changing or plot changing or anything that goes on is boring. It's interesting because it's slice of life. And that's why I'm going to end my review today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching my video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a like and share. Also, consider subscribing to my channel to stay up to date on all my latest content. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the force be with you, always.